In the hills of Nakuru, Kenya, where the winds roll over green fields and colonial ruins, there stands a castle, grand, cold, and silent. Its walls hold no warmth. Its halls echo with footsteps that haven't belonged to the living in decades. This is the tale of Lord Maurice Egerton, a man of wealth, pride, and heartbreak, and the haunting legacy he left behind. Lord Egerton arrived in Kenya in the early 1920s, a British aristocrat with a love for adventure and an obsession with perfection. In his heart burned a desire to win the love of a beautiful, educated Englishwoman. Her name lost to history, but her rejection is carved into every stone of the castle he built. He first constructed a modest 4-room house for her on his estate. She visited once and sneered. "It looks like a chicken coop," she said. Humiliated, Lord Egerton demolished it. He began building again, a castle this time, grand, elegant, with imported Italian marbles, mahogany wood from the Congo, and chandeliers from Europe. It took 16 years to complete, a monument to heartbreak. But when he invited her again, she laughed. "It looks like a museum," she said. "I will never live in Africa, and certainly not in a jungle castle built out of desperation." And so, she left, forever. Something inside Lord Egerton died that day. The man once seen riding horses through the Rift Valley with laughter fell silent. He retreated into the castle. Alone, angry, he issued a rule. No women were ever to set foot on his estate again. Even female staff were forbidden. It said that signs were posted at the gates. "Ladies are not allowed. Trespassers will be shot." His staff lived in fear. They say he roamed the halls late at night, whispering to no one, staring at paintings for hours. In 1958, Lord Egerton died, alone, no children, no heirs, and though his body was buried, some say his soul never left the castle. Today, Lord Egerton Castle is a museum, visited by schoolchildren, lovers, and tourists. But at night, when the last light fades and the caretakers lock the gates, the stories begin. Watchmen tell of footsteps in the ballroom, of a cold wind sweeping down the grand staircase, of lights flickering in the towers where no electricity remains. One night, a new caretaker named Kamau stayed past curfew. He was fixing a broken pipe in the basement when he heard music, a slow, classical piano melody, playing from the upper floor. There's no piano in the castle. When Kamau climbed the stairs, he saw a figure standing by the window, a tall man in a brown trench coat and top hat, staring out at the empty field. Kamau called out. The man didn't move. Suddenly, all the doors in the hallway slammed shut, and the man turned. His eyes were hollow, pale, and he whispered, "She never came back," then vanished. Kamau never returned to work. Another guide, Egerton, claims she once saw muddy boot prints appear on the marble floor behind her during a tour, even though no one had entered that wing. Some tourists have reported seeing shadows pacing in the study. Others say they hear muttering in British English from behind locked doors. But the most chilling encounter comes from a young woman named Wanjiru. She and her boyfriend visited the castle during a school trip. When they reached the old master bedroom, she touched the brass bedpost and felt a sharp pain in her chest. She gasped, and suddenly, she was sobbing. "I felt so alone," she later told a journalist. "Like I had waited for someone who never came." The sadness was overwhelming. Not mine. Someone else's. She fainted, and in the hospital, she whispered one line over and over. "I built it for you, and you still said no." Locals believe the castle is cursed by grief that never found peace. Not malevolent, but restless. They say Lord Egerton still walks the halls, not seeking revenge, but waiting. Waiting for the woman who broke his heart, or for someone to finally understand his pain. Some nights, a light appears in the highest tower, even though there's no electricity there. And some say, if you stand outside the castle gates at midnight, you might hear a voice whisper through the wind. This was supposed to be for love. The castle remains open today, a monument to obsession, to loneliness, to love that turned into madness. They call it majestic, but those who've stayed after dark call it haunted, because sometimes even castles can become prisons, and sometimes ghosts don't scream, they wait in silence. He built a kingdom for her heart, but died a prisoner of his own. If this tale intrigued you, subscribe for more haunting true stories and forgotten legends from across Africa and beyond. Click the bell and remember, some stories aren't just history, they're still happening.